Thank you, Representative Goodwin, for starting us off with such a great note. I would also go ahead and I would like to introduce Dr. Michael Newman, who will be joining us on stage to introduce our next speaker, the Honorable Ann Brown. So, Dr. Newman.
Representative Goodwin, that was a home run.
Now we're turning to another excellent hymn. We're talking about a fundamental issue here, which is...
There you go.
So, obviously, I'm wearing a white coat. The reason being, when physicians go to lobby, make their point, make their case, particularly in state capitals or Congress, wearing a white coat, people pay attention to you. Everyone noticed that here I am in a white coat. Otherwise, I'd be just a suit. So whenever we're lobbying for the Affordable Care Act or other, we tell physicians, wear your white coat, and people will pay attention to. Ann Brown is an extraordinary and person who we have a very close relationship. And I was trying to think this morning what I was going to say about Ann. And I was watching MSNBC. There's a lot going on. And they were talking about a group called Democracy Heroes. And it's sponsored by the group is called I Am a Voter and Democracy Heroes. And the hero that they were speaking about was Steve Kerr. How many people know who Steve Kerr is? Absolutely. And he's tonight receiving an award as an American hero. For those that you don't know, Steve Kerr is a basketball coach, extraordinary. And the highlight for me of the Olympics was the basketball games. His father was at in Lebanon, the AUB, American University of Lebanon. His father was assassinated, and we'll hear more. So it's interesting in family, Representative Goodwin, Steph Kerr, and now Ann Brown.
We want to see my head over the... Otherwise, I'm talking straight into the wood. Don't go away.
Yeah, no, I'm right here.
Okay.
There you go.
Let's see what we do here. Maybe, what is it without the thing? I'm a little...
I can
What-
bring this up. I can bring this up.
Bringing that up is perfect. We'll be 15 or 20 more minutes, just talk among yourselves. The whoa,
Right here.
right there.
Perfect.
Perfect. Hello, everybody. Thank you for your patience, and aren't we lucky to be at this fabulous event? I'm especially lucky because I have my children here who live in Austin. Would you all stand up just because it's Mommy telling you? Thank you. Aren't they gorgeous? Good morning, Dr. Estrada, and everybody here. This is a very exciting event, and I am delighted to join you to address one of the most significant issues confronting our country today, and that simply is gun violence. This program and presentation are comprehensive and certainly relevant, and how sad just to think of parents sending their children off to school in the morning and not being sure that they will return in the afternoon. It is totally tragic. For me, this forum hits close to home as a matter of our family, what we experienced. Early in my marriage, my late husband, his father was shot and killed in his grocery store in downtown Washington. Nobody in our family ever truly recovered from that. Yeah, it is an enormously tragic situation. Donald, my husband, with the support of others, pioneered supporting organizations addressing gun violence. Being present today and participating in this forum enables me to continue Donald and our family legacy. Most recently, I'm going to be a little braggy. Most recently, I donated $100,000, enabling us to purchase 37,000 gun locks, and that is Safe Kids is now distributing free of charge to people who have a gun that doesn't have a lock, free of charge, and it's making a positive impact. We're doing this in the 10 cities around the country that have most deaths from guns. So we hope to make a small difference. As I look forward to learning about your efforts to address the issues of gun safety, I want to share a bit about my journey, which perhaps can bring further attention and support to our shared concerns. My generation is mostly baby boomers. Looking out, I can see most of you are millennials. A few are younger. Look, and I'll tell you, the baby boomers did a good job. We came forth to change everything. We responded to President Kennedy's declaration that the torch had been passed to a new generation, and getting things set was our responsibility. Those years were challenging, as is today's world. With demonstrations, rallies, and lobbying, we stepped forward to be heard. I envied those who were able to join the Peace Corps and travel the world. As a mother raising 2 daughters and thinking about a career, it was not easy then, nor is it easy now. I watched, listened, and talked. By now, most of you know I like to talk. Safety always interested me. Food, water, screens, toys, clothes, the playgrounds. I was like a hound dog. I had a nose for what could be dangerous or problematic, and I advocated for and corrected the problem, worked on reforms, networking, and soon had an active consumer group going. A neighbor who funded the major grocery stores in Washington made a speech that brought much public attention, but not to him, but to me, because he talked about how difficult I was, what a bad job I was doing, trying to do all this stuff for consumers. It didn't go over very well, and the Washington Post made a big issue about it. Of course, I was getting the word around about what was going on, and this actually enhanced my reputation. I'm trying to think about just the feelings that I had when I was known as a troublemaker, and I must say, they were positive feelings. Now, related to today's world, I was recently named an influencer. How about that at age 87? I love it. Small as I have always been, the woman that I am, whatever my age, I much appreciate being regarded as an influencer, and that's why I'm here today, to influence you as a catalyst for gun safety. In 1972, the United States Consumer Product Safety Commission, an independent agency of the U.S. government, was created to promote the safety of consumer products by addressing quote, unreasonable risks of injury, developing uniform safety standards, and conducting research into product-related injury and illness. In 1993, President Bill Clinton, appointed me chairman of the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission. We were a very desirable place to work. We recruited a terrific, diverse, experienced staff and accelerated our efforts. Across the board, we had great success, requiring every item to be safe. Toys, cribs, clothes, athletic equipment, educational programs, whatever you name it, CPSC required it to be safe. And we were very public about it. It was challenging, but morale was high. Also, with our great staff and support, great support from both of the Clintons, and collegial cooperation from other agencies, darn good lawyers, and a very different Supreme Court, we got a hell of a lot done, with only one exception: guns. We don't tolerate polio, measles, COVID, malaria, leprosy, and other communicable diseases. We insist on seatbelts for our families. Why do we tolerate gun violence, which lately seems to be a communicable disease and is a leading cause of death in Texas and, of course, in other places in the United States? This forum demonstrates that help is on the way. Related to the pandemic of gun violence, there are now more than 200 organizations lobbying on the issue of gun violence. Polls across the country indicate increasing support for addressing gun safety. On January 31st, 2023, the coalition entitled "The Time for Change is Now" sent an emphatic letter to President Biden at the State of the Union address. Related to the forum, I understand you are reaching out to the White House and to the Surgeon General. Now is the time to build relationships, an apolitical network. Doctors are still respected, and especially when they wear their white coats. Now is the time to come together. Schools, PTAs, whatever groups are influential. We need to lobby legislators, call out legislators, and contribute to candidates who support gun safety. Establishing an influential, well-supported lobby for reasonable legislative gun control is what we need to do. I am hopeful that in the upcoming election, I'm not going to say anything about who I'm working for. I am hopeful that in the upcoming election, voters will support an administration that will address the gun violence pandemic and common sense gun legislation and the establishment of a joint committee on gun safety. I'm impressed with the topics being talked about today. The academic quality, backgrounds, the diversity of the speakers, and the passion that I know everyone will bring to this issue. With continued conversations, discussions, and planning, you can make it happen. And I am honored to continue my support and advice in any way necessary and helpful. The torch is in your hands. Thank you.